Let's continue, as we always do, with a moment of tuning. This is a chance for us to really get into and feel the Spirit of God flowing through us and around us, as it does all of the time. But as you know, the weeks get busy, and we tend to forget to simply stop and be quiet and experience the loving, kind, motivating, cleansing energy of God that we are made from. Let's take a few moments right now and tune ourselves into the very being of God. Staying in this space, let's join our voices together in prayer. It is in the depths of life that we find you, at the heart of this moment, at the center of our soul, deep in the earth and its eternal stirrings. You are the ground of all being, the wellspring of time, womb of the earth, the seed force of stars. And so, at the opening of this day, we wait, not for blessings from afar, but for you, the very soil of our soul, the early freshness of morning, the first breath of day. Amen.
From God, through God, to God, are all things. From God, through God, to God, are all things. To God be the glory. To God be the glory forevermore, forevermore. From God, through God, to God, are all things. From God, through God, to God, are all things. To God be the glory. To God be the glory forevermore, forevermore.
Let's take a look this morning at an early Gnostic Thanksgiving prayer. This is the prayer of Thanksgiving, the first part, we'll do the second part a little bit later, from the Nag Hammadi Codex, Codex 6, and that means chapter 63, starting in line 33, all the way through chapter 65 to line 7. We give thanks to you. Every soul and heart is lifted up to you, honored with the name God. For to everyone and everything comes kindness and affection and love. We give thanks for any teaching there may be that is sweet and plain, giving us mind, speech, and knowledge. Mind, so that we may understand you. Speech, so that we may expound you. Knowledge, so that we may know you. We rejoice, having been illuminated by your knowledge. We rejoice because you have shown us yourself. We rejoice because while we are in body, you have made us divine through your knowledge. Amen. So, as I said, this is the first part of a Gnostic Thanksgiving prayer. Gnosticism describes a rather broad set of ancient religious ideas that developed in the 1st and 2nd centuries of the Common Era. As Jewish followers of Jesus began to worship alongside Gentiles in a sort of proto-Christianity that was ripe with the interchange of ideas, the concept of Jesus as a wisdom teacher who revealed gnosis, knowledge about our divine and human being, was prevalent. For the many Gnostic sects, knowledge was discovered within, through personal experience with the divine. Through a system of spiritual practices, the Gnostics believed one could attain a deep, lasting, Jesus-like relationship with God that changes an individual so absolutely they can't help but go out and work to create a more equitable, just, safe world for everyone. Although the Gnostic practice can seem academic, inner knowing isn't necessarily the same as intellectual knowledge. Ultimately, the Gnostics were after the same relationship with God they saw in Jesus Christ, complete, unfailing oneness with the divine constructive energy of God embodied in every one of us, every plant, every animal. Much like other early Christian contemplations rooted in Judaica, Gnostic teachings focused on personal spiritual development in the manner and style of Jesus. For the most part, Gnostics understood Jesus as a divinely inspired spiritual master, a guru whose realization of oneness could be achieved by any student. I believe this is what Jesus intended as well. I've always been fond of Jesus as a guru, not only because the concept alleviates some of the Roman mythological baggage about sacrificial blood, but also because gurus are essential in our lives. They help refocus us when we get off track. They show us new ways to stay connected to the conscious universe, which makes us more aware of and responsive to the needs of our earthly communities. And while a guru's presence in our lives may be transient, their ideas provide us with spiritual kindling forever. Most often, the world conjures images of Jesus, Krishna, or Buddha, enlightened, ascended beings who spent their lives teaching others how to be and perceive differently. But really, gurus come in all sorts of unexpected forms, and in my experience, are sometimes unrecognized until much later on the journey. I've had and have many, many gurus. Jesus, of course, but also my mom and dad, who taught me to love everyone unconditionally and to question everything. There are also a few, like Joel Goldsmith and Ram Dass, people I've never met in person. Nevertheless, these gurus have deeply affected my spirituality and continue to guide my thoughts about Jesus, God, and reality in general. Some of my most valuable spiritual prods have come from incidental gurus, people we associate with briefly. An incidental guru might come in the form of a waiter or a waitress, a convenience store attendant, a short-term assignment or a relocation, or even a stranger on a train. The conscious universe speaks to us in many ways, often from the most unexpected places and people. My family lived in Austin, Texas for my first year of high school. And for some reason, my brother Pat had a French tutor. Now, why we felt the need to take French lessons in Austin, Texas escapes me at the moment, as does the reason why I ended up sitting in on them. However, I'm sure it had something to do with my mother meeting somebody somewhere while she was out and then inviting them over to do something for us, and suddenly, voila, mon frère et moi apprenons français. Anyway, at one lesson, the teacher gave me a copy of Paramahansa Yogananda's groundbreaking Autobiography of a Yogi, which is now just a classic of spiritual literature. And as it's done for millions of other people, Autobiography of a Yogi reinforced my belief that we can all achieve, as Yogananda called it, God realization. It helped me reconcile my difficulties with my mom's Jewish and my father's Catholic interpretations of Jesus by reframing Jesus as a guru, a master with a wonderful revelation about our relationship with God to share. Yogananda helped me discover a Jesus I could relate to, a Jewish mystic who taught oneness with the conscious universe, like Krishna, Buddha, and other masters. It's Yogananda, a Hindu guru who finally made Jesus not only palatable, but essential to my spiritual development. Yogananda showed me a Jesus concerned with the plight of this world, a humble, itinerant teacher who was convinced the only way to make the world better is by first improving the people who inhabit it. And Jesus knew the only way to improve people is to help us improve ourselves, mainly by getting over ourselves as the center of the universe. Now, it's not easy to reframe Jesus because as we begin to awaken to a more authentic representation of him, the orthodoxy threatens us with damnation of our soul and even expulsion from our church homes. The Orthodox, for whose sins Jesus must die, ironically find somehow impossible the idea that we could instead all achieve Jesus' heightened awareness of God. So, I am thankful for the incidental gurus who think otherwise, who lead me to other gurus, who lead me to Jesus, who points me ever toward God, toward realization of oneness, toward acting like a merely decent human being. To that end, I am practicing more gratitude in my life, especially for everyone fighting for a just and equitable world. So, if I may help us begin what I hope is not only a season, but a lifetime of gratitude. I am thankful for indigenous people everywhere and their unrelenting spirituality and grace, for their continued fight for the earth as a conscious living being. I pray to the conscious universe for a government with more indigenous representation. We need your influence badly. I'm thankful for the roller coaster ride of being human, with all of its breathtaking space shots and heartbreaking landmines. I'm thankful for spiritual communities worldwide who are redefining and reevaluating religion and faith and all of our ancient ideas and understandings of the universe. I am exceptionally thankful for my family, blended from all these different strands of God being. I'm thankful for science and scientists whose curiosity drives us to the stars and inside the inner workings of matter, revealing a more wondrous reality than we imagined, one infused by consciousness in every quark. And I'm thankful for my chance encounter with an enlightened French teacher in Austin, Texas, a purveyor of ancient wisdom if ever there was one, a gift of an incidental guru who started me on a journey full of incidental gurus, too many to name, most of whom have no idea I'd named them that way anyway. And I am beyond thankful for this community of seekers who effortlessly inspire each other with your own inquisitive spiritual natures. Thanks, gurus, all of you. Our question today is, who are your incidental or not so incidental gurus? Who've been sort of the gurus in your life? And particularly as you think back, have there been a couple that you were like, wow, where did that come from and how? Let's chat with each other about the incidental gurus in our lives. I'm going to send you into breakout rooms as usual for 10 minutes or so. Share freely with each other, as I know you will. And if somebody would take some notes so that we can share with each other when we get back into the larger group, I'd appreciate that very much. Enjoy your discussions, my friends. Please accept the invitations on your screen. We'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. So now I would like to move us right into a period of communal prayer, and we're going to do something a little bit different today. I have a really neat Native American indigenous guided meditation to play. And man, I thought about that other one. Maybe it comes up later. So I would like us to spend just a few moments here in silent prayer, praying for ourselves, our loved ones, for all of the people in the world all over who need just a greater sense that God is with them, that there is peace and love in the world. Let's take a few moments right now to center ourselves in God's love.
At this moment, just focus in the middle of your chest. Imagine there's an opening in the middle of your chest. And that even though you're breathing in and out of your nose or your mouth necessary oxygen, etc., with each in-breath, in through this hole in your chest, you are drawing something very subtle, not even on the physical plane. It's been called soma. It's been called elixir. It's been called ambrosia. It's been called pran. It's been called living spirit. Think of it as a very fine mist. With each breath, draw it into the middle of your chest and let it pour through your body to the extremities, to the tips of your fingers, to the tips of your toes, through your torso, your head. And then in the out-breath, when you're breathing out through the center of your chest, any stuff in you that is keeping you from being with the universe, the tensions, the fears, the negativity, the doubt, the grudges, the anger, the loneliness, the self-pity, breathe it out. Just breathe it out. Let it go on the out-breath. And then fill once again with this healing, very